Hey there, friends. How are you doing? I hope that you are having a sweet, sweet day. Our pal from down under sent me some, I wanted to call these doilies, and I was like, well, I mean, it's not exactly a doily. It is, but I did a little research, and yes, these are still called doilies, embroidered doilies, or a tray cloth. These books started out, the fabric, as a vintage tray cloth. And the cloth was like, it was big, okay? So I devised ways to kind of fold it and glue it and sew it and make it into sweet journal covers. I think that these are a lot of fun because they take a historic element, someone's hand embroidered work, and use it in a really different way. I like being able to do things like that with the treasures that you guys send me. So let's take a look at these. We'll call them tray cloth books. I just listed a couple of jelly roll books, so we're just doing something different here. We're just calling them something different. I'm kind of bundled up. It's cold up here. I'm going to list these journals, and I've got 2 more to go in the shop, and then we are going to take a little break today. Miss Mia has got to get outside before she absolutely explodes, and not because she needs to do business, because she'll do business in the yard. She just likes to walk, but it is cold and the wind is blowing, so I'm hoping she'll go for like that short walk today. These journals are 5x7, friends, and they have a 2-inch spine. Now, this tray cloth shows signs of age right here. It almost looks like a rust mark, which to me adds all kinds of provenance and interest to a piece. You know, where did that come from? How did that happen? It also, there are little spots on here that are discolored, but for the most part, you guys, it is an absolutely, absolutely exquisite piece. Thank you so much, Miss T, for sending this to us. Now let me show you how I kind of did like a sewn method to cover my food packaging, okay? You can tell how very big this tray cloth was. It was pretty big. So I folded it so you still have the whole tray cloth. And then I kind of nestled the food packaging 5x7 cardboard into the pocket that I kind of made. I did not want to take this to the sewing machine because I do not think my needle could go through all these layers. So what I did up here in the corners is I hand stitched. So you can see right here, and hand stitching is one of my favorite things to do. And then I added buttons here because we could get the top and the bottom, but then when we folded the sides over, you know, we needed some way to secure that. The cool thing is it is kind of made a wee little pocket, so it's maybe a secret pocket for you guys. I wouldn't jam a lot in here because I think it's going to get lost, but there are definitely like little secret tuck spots in here. Let's go through and see what we have. Of course, she is like, you know, she's 3.5 inches thick. She does have lots of playthings in her. We love to collage, right? We want the whole world to be a collaged world. We want to take our disparate items and make them into something brand new. This is what I call a collage collection. Now, these are curated pieces that will help you learn to to do collage if that's something that you want to do. If you have no interest in that at all, then they are great color blocks. They're great focal imagery for you to work with. Always try and put a word or a phrase or a sentence or something with these. And this one says work. You've got a little pad of paper here, and that says admire. There is a mini book right here for you guys. I took some help from that awesome Twilight Director's Cut book because I just love the colors in this. This is 1983. I think it's Country Living. I really have enjoyed my spray station, and I'm just having all kinds of fun spraying all kinds of things. But then I discovered that I had sprayed the floor, and I'm like, that's probably not good. I need, like a big carpet over there or something. We got a little vintage card for you. Again, just a sweet little color block right here. Illustrations from the book that Miss R sent about Sherlock Holmes. I love it. And of course, we're going to have text for you to read, right? I think books should be not only interactive on an artistic level, but that they should be fun to read. A book like this sitting on a coffee table will be a conversation starter. As people flip through here and look at the images, look at the papers, all these papers might remind you of something. We have a piece of leather here for you. This is about 8.5 by, this is about 8 by 5.5. I cut the leather about that, okay, approximately. So you can have a traveler's notebook, leather-bound notebook to play with if you want to experiment with some leather and see what you can come up with. I think that this paper with the black background is so cool. This tree reminds me of Dr. Seuss. This little item says Snow Lady, and there's Christmas tree paper right here. So we have, a combination of things from magazines, things that are taken from books. My B6, portions of my B6 are in here, so you can see some of my personal collaging. I finished a signature, took the signature apart, and now I'm using it in flow journals. This is from a book called What Do They Do?, which I think was really interesting. It was a book written in the 50s about the jobs that people had. And it's interesting to go back and see what people were doing. They were pumping gas. They were sweeping the road with brushes. They were, you don't see computers and you don't see a lot of technology. You see plumbers and electricians and, people felling timber and things like that. So timber, not timber. It's just an interesting book. It's a very interesting look back. This is Teresa of Avila. There are images here that I have stamped for you guys, so you'll have some stamped images to play with. The pockets sometimes get really full, so I have to use a paper clip right here. More of the collage collection right here. It says, remember not the former things, nor consider the things of old. Behold, I am doing a new thing. Now it springs forth. Do you not perceive it? I love that. It's from Isaiah. We have a doily here with a butterfly and some matching paper under that. Of course, I do like the seasons, and I like to present things to you guys that have a seasonal flair to them. This says Dream Big. We've got some gemstone stickers up here for you, a Christmas tree, and hearts, which, we think about hearts at Valentine's. Hearts are appropriate any old time. I love this image of the little girl with the butterfly in her hand. I'm not sure if that's a butterfly. It's a flower. This is from a 1983, I think it's Country Living magazine. I mean, remember when we used to order things like this and we ordered them from magazines? You know, how different is that? They're even asking if you are a Mr., a Mrs., or a Miss. There's no MS, there's no Ms. in there, so you can tell how old that is. Iroquois arithmetic book reminds me of every arithmetic book that I grew up with and how I don't like arithmetic. Here is a guy using a brush to clean a floor. I thought this was interesting because if you guys listened to the TV this week and what was going on in the capital, and they kept mentioning Kiev. Well, this is Kiev or Kiev, and I thought it was just, you know, how weird is it that it just jumped in here? Which, that thing I watched 5 minutes, you know, because I got stuff to do. I have to work. So I did not glue myself to the TV over all that. Lots and lots of word prompts right here. Flight, wander, walk, city, life, claim, depart, packing, list, seek, travel, destination, getaway, tourist, go, see, do. Plenty of writing prompts for you to play with, or cards to make, you know, art trading cards with. This is Arthur Conan Doyle and his first wife. I just thought all of these images played so nicely together. Got some macaroons. I'm going to take my little niece and get some macaroons in December. We're all excited. We go to have tea and then we go to have macaroons. I'm not crazy about macaroons, but she is. She loves them. Fabric for you guys to play with. We have some rhinestone stars right here. This is some new washi tape that has Christmas trees on it. I thought that was so pretty. I really did like it. Pine cones up here. A vintage. That is, I think that's a thrush right there. Just a vintage piece from the Green Bird book, it was called. This says the little things. When you flip this over, there is a quote here that says, the big things you can see with one eye closed, but keep both eyes wide open for the little things. Little things mark the great dividing line between success and failure. I was listening to Thich Nhat Hanh this morning, who is one of my very favorite teachers to listen to, and you know, he was talking about the way that we go from moment to moment, and it was an interview with Oprah Winfrey. It was very interesting, and he was talking about his training, you know, his Buddhist training, and how he manages things like a late connection at the airport, or, you know, does anything make him angry? It was just an amazing interview. Again, Arthur Conan Doyle, his second wife, and his children. Isn't that just beautiful? I don't know where that is, but it's from a National Geographic magazine. Oh, it's Genoa. Italy. Italy is underwater. It is odd to be watching the Venice flooding and know exactly where those shops are and exactly where St. Mark's Square is. And, you know, we sat on the steps there, and where are the bands and the people. It's just the weirdest kind of out-of-body experience that I've ever had before. This is from a book, I think this is 1973. Don't you love that text? I thought it was so pretty. We've got some coffee pages in here for you. This is out of the Ideals magazine. I think we all remember that one. We have to be a certain age to remember Ideals. Got a keyboard and a speaker up here. Are you playing music this Christmas? Do you love Christmas music? Do you not like Christmas music? Is it just not your thing? This is where Arthur Conan Doyle lived. It's called Undershaw. Or maybe it's Hindhead. Undershaw. I don't know what it is. It's where he lived, though. One of his homes. We've got some netting, tissue paper in here for you to play with. Of course, there are tons of hairy paper clips up here, you know, to have fun with as well. And there's washi tape down here to have fun with too. These are from the paper pads that I bought last weekend. I was so excited. This says Joy. It is a wooden piece. So you've got some wood, you've got some leather, you've got sprayed papers back here. So you've got, these are like distress sprays. A napkin to play with, stamped images right here. I dig arrows. I just like arrows. Anything with arrows really does attract my attention. Remember when we used to order books like this and DVDs? That'll bring it all back, won't it? So, this is not Sherlock Holmes. This is Horace Vernet from the Sherlock Holmes book. He's an illustrator and painter. 1947 Red Cross Home Nursing Manual. A little bit of Halloween on some spooky paper. I like the way that turned out. It's hand-sprayed, hand-dyed paper. Blah, 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 blah. That kind of sums up what I heard last week in the, you know, up north. This is so cool because this is actually from Flow magazine and it has little prompts in it. So you can pull out this page and have several little prompts to play with. Document your outfit every day. I'm not even going to go there. Arthur Conan Doyle published a Study in Scarlet. That was one of the first public, I think this was the first thing that he published in Beaton's Christmas Annual in November of 1887. Like the illustrations from Twilight. Didn't like the movie, thought it was pretty. Pretty movie, pretty people. Teenage angst. Blah. All right, let's take a look at our next embroidered tray cloth. We've got some purple going on here, which I enhanced with a little bit of purple in the bead work that we did. This has a bit of a thicker spine, you guys. It's 2.5. Now this one, I was able to glue it cautiously and carefully onto my base, my book base, and it worked out really well. You can tell that it was not nearly as big as the pink tray cloth that we have over here. So we've got fabric elements for you, embellishments, and there's a mini book right here. This is part of my B6 collage. Some stamped imagery for you. Really pretty papers. This one has a piece of white leather for you to, you know, play with, sew, do whatever you want. Another Sherlock Holmes book. This was like a 1958 children's book. We've got super cool recipes in here. Fish any day of the week. This is the 1885 ledger. This is actually 1886 right there. So lots of vintage papers for you to play with. Lots of embellishments, tags, tabs. You can make tabs. There aren't tabs in here. Art trading cards. You can do all kinds of things with these books. Plus, you know, they're fun to just like put on your desk. And then you can just flip through them to find elements. They make your desk pretty, y'all. Got a chippy right here for you. Fabric. These are some stickers up here. Again, something from the B6, my B6. And this does have like a little pocket right here. So I'm just going to leave that kind of in there. And then that way you can tell that that is a pocket. This is from the Ideals magazine. The illustrations in that magazine are phenomenal. So it's from a brochure from Down Under. for an art exhibit. A greeting card that was very inspiring. Another little chippy ATC for you to play with. This says no bad days. If you think you're having one, you probably are not. These are folks that are painting the ceiling in a house from the What People Do. I can always count on you too. This is an art trading card. A little bit of netting. This is more fabric to play with. Illustrations again from the Sherlock Holmes children's book. Delmonico potatoes, potato and clam pie. I think this is 1938. The vintage ledger. We've got art trading coins in here to play with and napkins as well. This is a golden crowned kinglet. Those look good. You will not regret taking a few extra minutes to stir up a savory cream sauce for plain boiled potatoes. Honestly, I love potatoes. That sounds really good to me. Got some crystal imagery for you. A shell right here and a tag. A little bit of kitty cat right here. Stamped images for you to play with. Take life one cup at a time. More from my B6 book. This heart of mine, whisper to my heart with all my heart. More stamped images for you. Sprayed papers, which are so much fun. This is a poem from the Ideals magazine. I'll fold out for you. And remember, these are full sheets of images, so you have a lot to work with, my friends. All right. Now, because these books are created from vintage fabric, each of these are $45, and they're going to be $8 to ship. Thank you guys for hanging out with me. I appreciate your support and your kindness over at the Etsy shop. You guys absolutely rock, and I am so appreciative and thankful for all of you. Have a great day. I'll talk to you soon. Bye.